Guys, so today we are gonna be talking about the Tokyo Olympic, the latest update. As tomorrow, it's going to be the closing ceremony of the Olympic. However, the first thing that I'm gonna be talking about is the standing currently. So the top five for the overall medals have been China with 38 gold is the first, and the second will be US with 36 gold. The third will be Japan in with 27 gold, and the fourth one will be the Russia with 20 gold. But tying with the fifth is the UK with also 20 gold, or Great Britain. However, the Russia or ROC will have more silver and bronze than the UK, so that's why they're in fourth with 69 overall medals, while in the UK it only have 63. So far, I have watched a lot of games of on Olympic games in of Japan, and it do run quite smoothly, as I would say, from start to end. However, I would also say that Japan with its COVID prevention method has been, I wouldn't say bad, but it has been going off the track, I would say. It's quite in the danger zone, I would say. It's always hitting a new all-time high for the COVID cases, especially today in Japan. I think has been reaching 15,423 cases for today, which is very high. And in Tokyo itself, it has reaches around 5,000 cases, 5,000, around somewhere estimated 5,000 cases. Well, it reaches all-time high. The IOC, the organizer, the president of IOC, Thomas Bach, has been saying that it has been the good, relatively well-run Olympic. It was like beyond expectation according to the Thomas Bach IOC president. And when the president has said that, a lot of Japanese people on social media has been getting, I would say, angry instead of being happy. They say I would say they don't support the work of the nurses that work hard behind the hospital. They only praise the athletes that have been giving the vibe of the fun competition. And some of them also, it's like it's a failed. They don't even talk about the people working behind the scene, I would say, for the Tokyo Olympic, and also around Tokyo as well. But personally, for me, I would say the Tokyo Olympic, I would say, and also regarding the Paralympics that's happening around 2 more weeks, I would say it's around 50-50. So the Olympic is, I would say it's almost like a good run games that good run events that has been, I mean, it's on the Olympic. I would say it's better to finish it as soon as possible so that we can focus on the COVID cases and also the Paralympics. So the thing that is been positive on the Olympic is been that the game has been run well. It has been a lot of hype, a lot of good world record breaking, and also have been quite steady. However, the negative side is that the vaccine rollout in Japan has been quite slow. I would say it's at least you need 50% to be rolled out. However, Japan only has reached 32.9% on the vaccine rollout, which is very concerning considering that it has been run for, I think, 2 weeks at least for the Olympic game, 2 to 3 weeks. And moreover, is that the Paralympics haven't even started yet, which is another major concern because when the Olympic happening, the COVID cases keep rising instead of going down. It keeps rising to and breaks the all-time high every time for the COVID cases, which is concerning on the other hand, and it can affect, I would say, a lot of Japanese. And as you can see, I mean, we could see the situation in India and Indonesia that has been going worse and worse. And Japan might also be, I wouldn't jinx it or anything, but the concern about it is that it might be the next India or the next Indonesia that has been suffering. And this also is the issue that is very concerning, especially, and should not be looked over. And especially when a lot of people have been quite, I wouldn't say, because it's state of emergency and lockdown are two different things. I would say that the way that Japan has been handling the COVID cases and the way that they try to correlate with the Olympic have been, I would say, failed. They have failed to please the government have of Japan have failed to control this spread and causing more problems, especially when the Delta variant and then another variant have come into the pen. It's Lambda variant, which is another virus, new strain, and this is the reason why I would say it has failed in these areas, especially in the COVID control cases. And they would also shame the another news, recent news also they have caught two to three, I think three people breaking the COVID lockdown rule, or after they like the quarantine rules that they have to follow, but they break it. Three Japanese, and they are being publicly shamed and name and shame. I would say they give the location and all of that. However, at this point, I would say it will not work. It won't work. I would say because people have had enough of it. I think they have the people of Japan. I think they have enough of this nonsense. I would say because the problem with public shaming, it only works when people are satisfied with the government, or if they don't really care about the way it works. But with the recent situation on the COVID cases and the Olympic and the people very getting very angry about this thing, I think that public shaming and all of that, it will not work anymore. People will is People do not really care about this public shaming or another thing, especially except for the people. I would say the people who are being public shamed might be feeling the impact, but then at the same time, the people who sees this might not even care because they see this as like something nonsense, especially when the government itself is doing something wrong and the IOC also is doing something wrong. Instead of publicly shaming the IOC, they let this thing goes on, which causes more problem. And I would say that the government have been failing to satisfy these people, all of the people. And I wouldn't say the Olympic is a success or failure. I would say in the middle. It will be in the middle. There have been so much controversies, and we can see the reason why the government is failing for Japan, and the reason why I wouldn't say like new leader. I wouldn't say that, but the reason why the government is failing, we would see the reason why with slow vaccine rollout and people dissatisfaction and all of that, and the uncontrollable COVID cases rises. COVID cases increase, breaking new all-time high every time. This is the real issues that should be tackled instead of focusing on the Olympic. But however, they don't want this Olympic to suffer too at the same time. And also for me personally, it's better to finish it as quickly as possible so they can focus on this one problem and one problem only, how to control this COVID spread, I would say. And another thing that I would say about Japan is that the another problem is that there I would say there issues with this freedom of speech, I would say. The problem is not with the freedom of speech. I don't think it's the problem. People can say whatever they want. It's still possible, but however, the problem is that they are too scared to talk about what they want to talk about and what's their dissatisfaction for the younger generation. And instead, we could see the older generation are the one moving this, talking about this big problem, especially. And this is the reason why I would say the Olympic can go ahead. So that's why I don't really feel like even if it cancel or go on, it's still the same. Even for me, I would say it affects people living outside that want to come into Japan. However, it does not affect the important point is that if we going to postpone this any longer, I would say it will become another financial issues and economic issues for Japan too, especially when they have to pay more for maintaining all the stadiums and all, when they could just use that money to actually try to control the virus. But then the there's a negative and there's positive. The positive is that at least for me when I watch it, I don't feel stress. I just feel happiness. Like it can not say happiness, but I'll say fun and excitement for it. And especially in this depressing time, I would say it can also help a lot of people on, let's just say, coming joining us together to see this through. And for now, Japan has been also trying to use the Olympic Stadium as a multifunctional room, which I say one is for the Olympic players or athletes, and another one is for the people, public users. Also, they want to make use of that. So I would say it's both positive and negative. But I wouldn't. But I also don't know what the public, Japanese public, and other public people, what other opinion. Do you think is the Olympic is a success or a failure? And for me, I would say it's difficult because it's a success and at the same time failure for, as I have already mentioned. And for the Paralympics, I would say that it happens within 2 more weeks, I would say. And the thing about the Paralympics that hopefully, I would say, hopefully things would go smoothly. Also, even though there's a lot of controversies, I would say, and I would say it's more to failure instead of success with the COVID cases and the controversies of athletes breaking the rules, also, which is more of or less a problem that we could see in the coming days, and especially when one of the German athletes saying that the quarantine place or quarantine the Olympic Village or the hotels, the I wouldn't say hotel, the place they stayed in is like a prison, I'd say. And it's becoming a major issue too for the Paralympics athletes that will come in the next 2 more weeks, I would say. And another major news is that the one athletes have been who have been saying that one Belarusian athletes who have been saying that She have withdrawn on 4 or 5 events due to her mental health, and this is another issues that we can see coming from the Olympic is that the mental health issue of these athletes have been getting worse. I'd say some of them because of course they are being it's almost like an prison like environment which makes them depressed and all of that. So we could see the reason why they would withdraw from the events. However, this one Belarusian athlete have also been, I wouldn't say migrate, but I would say they have been safely moved towards Poland because they are scared of their safety, especially and their family safety. When the Belarusian country is also in the brink of, I would say, civil war. I would say have been all protests and all of that, unstable. Their country is in unstable situation. So yes, she has been moved towards the Polish embassy, and the family have been moved towards Poland. And I hope that their families and her especially can become, I would say, have a better future, and hopefully she can live her life more happily. And we hope that her mental health could go better, especially. I think that's it for now, guys. So hopefully you guys like and enjoy this video, and subscribe, like, and comment, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.